Third time is the charm, I guess. This time, William Byron saves enough fuel to get his first victory since the Daytona 500. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove, Iowa post-race show. I was planning to have this video up like an hour ago, but unfortunately the entire Cup Series field forgot how to drive at the start of Stage 3. The pace of this race came grinding to a halt. Another fuel mileage finish, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about points implications. New regular season points leader, the playoff bubble battle just got tighter. A few standout performances, including some potential surprise winners that gave the playoff system a scare earlier today. All of that and so much more. I also just noticed I forgot to charge my camera battery, folks. Let's hope we have enough power to make it to the end of this video. That would be bad. Sorry, little behind the scenes show information there that you did not need to know. Iowa Speedway, second annual NASCAR Cup Series race, a sellout crowd for the second consecutive season. Fantastic scenes for NBC, I guess specifically USA Network's first Cup Series broadcast of the season. Let's start this episode at the finish of today's race like we typically do. William Byron has had a very good season. He's battled for the regular season points lead all year, consistent speed at a variety of track types, but only the one win. Granted, it was the season opening Daytona 500, the biggest, baddest crown jewel of them all, but one win in the first 22 races left something to be desired. As good as Byron and crew chief Rudy Fugle have been this year, it felt like there was something missing. When we talk about championship 4 threats, we immediately think of Hamlin, who has the most wins this year. We talk about his teammate Christopher Bell or Kyle Larson, who's always a threat. William Byron's been to the championship 4 back-to-back seasons. Yet because he's not been winning as much, or because he's been running out of fuel a couple times this summer, costing him good finishes, getting caught up in wrecks, we haven't talked about William Byron in the same breath as the Hamlins, the Larsons, the Bells, shoot, even Shane Van Gisbergen at times, considering how dominant he's been at the road courses. But the end of this race was a reminder that William Byron, Rudy Fugle, and of course the whole group at Hendrick Motorsports backing them, they are legit. They've won a lot of races the past few years. They've been tremendous in this next-gen car era. Like I just said, they've made deep playoff runs before. They are stacking up playoff points ahead of potentially another postseason run. I believe Byron made it 144 laps on a single tank of fuel at the end of this race. Now, he was aided by like 50 caution laps. Almost a third of the final stage, and it was a long stage, was run under the yellow flag. Spins, crashes, restart incident after restart incident. Again, the pace of this race came to a halt. Stage 1 was clean and green, kind of felt like a Sunday drive. Stage 2, a little more competitive, a little bit of action. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson teammates sideswiping each other on restarts. But Stage 3, goodness gracious, the dam broke. I think we had over a dozen cautions today. I saw a stat, this was the most cautions this year since Texas Motor Speedway. We call Texas a sketchy track. Can we call Iowa sketchy? I mean, it was awkwardly repaved before last season's race, and the track surface looked completely different year 1 to year 2. So yeah, unpredictable track conditions, changing track conditions. Yeah, Iowa Speedway kind of sketchy. It's at that Texas level of sketchy. But I'm off topic. Back to William Byron. He's run out of gas twice this summer, like I mentioned. Was racing for the win at Michigan a few weeks back, ran out of fuel battling Denny Hamlin. Last week at Indianapolis, Byron had a shot at a top 5, ran out of fuel at the very end on one of the overtime restarts. Not only costing him shots at the win, but also costing him valuable regular season points. Chase Elliott rallied the past few weeks to take over the regular season points lead. Today's victory, as well as the playoff points he earned on top of it, have now vaulted William Byron back into the top spot. 3 weeks from now, when the regular season concludes, the regular season champion gets 15 additional playoff points, while second place gets 10. That's a 5-point swing. That could be huge come the round of 8, especially. We see every year that race comes down to the wire. So a heated battle between teammates, Byron and Elliott. Byron back out front. William Byron holds off Chase Briscoe, who scores yet another second place finish. Another pole, let's start there. Another runner-up for Chase Briscoe. Again, he and James Small, new pairing this season, have found their groove midway through the year. Finishing third was Brad Keselowski. Best race he's run all season, led 68 laps, had maybe the best car, won the first 2 stages, made passes for the lead under green. Really impressive performance from Brad, but he needs a win. Third place is great. You can pat yourself on the back. You can build from that. But if he's going to make the playoffs, he needs to win one of these next 3 races. Today was a golden opportunity. Didn't quite work out. Before we look at the rest of the top finishers, I'll touch on the fuel mileage finish. This is becoming very common in the NASCAR Cup Series now. Fuel mileage plays a role in a stage finish, or quite often now, the finish of this race. I think what's happened is that because the next gen car is so aero sensitive, not only that, it's so equal. Same parts and pieces on every car, harder to pass. Aero blocking is a skill, is a tool that drivers can use. Because track position matters so much. Track position matters more today than it's probably ever mattered throughout NASCAR history. Because the teams have figured that out, they have also simultaneously now mastered fuel mileage racing. William Byron going over 140 laps at Iowa on a single tank of fuel is impressive on its own. You got to keep in mind he had dozens of caution laps to help get him there. But what makes it even more impressive is the fact that by the end of this race, he was driving away from Chase Briscoe and Brad Keselowski. Keselowski, I just said, probably had the best car today, yet he could not catch William Byron at the end, despite Byron being urged to save fuel almost every single lap. Same thing happened at Pocono a few weeks ago. Chase Briscoe in the lead, max fuel saving, had Denny Hamlin, his teammate, bearing down on him. Denny Hamlin is the greatest driver in the history of Pocono Raceway, yet despite Briscoe saving fuel and Hamlin going full throttle, Denny couldn't get close. He couldn't even get to his bumper. He couldn't get side by side. That shows you how important track position is. These teams not only have their fuel mileage calculated almost perfectly, they've also now learned how to maximize track position, how to use the air to their advantage. They have great people to study now. Joey Logano won a championship by saving enough fuel at Nashville and at Las Vegas. This car, as equal as it is, allows that. It's why we see so many races, even super speedways now, Daytona and Talladega especially, are all about fuel mileage racing. It's because even Daytona and Talladega with the next gen car have become track position races. I don't mind a good fuel mileage finish from time to time, and I know people in the comments are like, yeah, but they never run out of fuel. Byron has run out of fuel a couple times. Other drivers have stumbled in the past. It's not super common. It does occasionally happen. I don't mind the occasional fuel mileage finish, but when it's almost every single week, as it's felt this summer, that's not amazing, in my opinion. It really just highlights the shortcomings with this car even further. These teams are brilliant. These drivers are experts. They are exploiting every aero advantage or disadvantage this car gives them. It's not always a great racing product, while it is fascinating to watch sometimes from a strategy component. I'll give this race this. While I didn't love all the cautions at the end of this race, started to put me to sleep, I appreciate that I really had no idea who was going to win this race until like 5 laps to go. Then it became pretty clear it was going to be Byron, Briscoe, or Brad, or Blaney. Actually, Blaney was even in the Blaney, I suppose, was the caveat to this because he was able to make a lot of passes late, charge his way up to 4th. You know, if Byron runs out of gas, he, Brad, and Briscoe may have been 3 wide across the line for the win. So, you know, some of it was Briscoe trying to pass Byron early in the run, used up his stuff because he was in dirty air. Brad having to pass for 5th, having to pass Bowman, having to pass Priest, had to make some hard passes to get to 3rd, used up his stuff. Blaney was better at saving his equipment. He's so good on the long runs. He was able to charge forward late, obviously couldn't get to the front. As we continue to see time and time again with this car, Ryan Blaney is the lone long run exception. Everybody else, it seems, gets done in by dirty air, uses up their tires, and the leader, no matter if they're half throttle or full throttle, that clean air is such an advantage. The fuel calculations are made with near pinpoint accuracy. Fuel mileage racing has become less fun to watch because the teams are too damn good at it at this point. That's my takeaway. And I think it all comes back to the next gen car, giving the teams more tools to save fuel and preserve track position. And because they're so equal, it forces these teams into different fuel strategies to try and make up track position. That's why we're seeing so many fuel mileage races, and simultaneously, while we're not seeing as many dramatic fuel mileage finishes. I guess this is a long-winded way to get to my conclusion, but that combination doesn't make for a great NASCAR Cup Series product, in my opinion. Let me know how you feel down in the comment section below. Again, I like a good fuel mileage race from time to time, but when it's happening almost every single week and these teams are so damn good at it, we don't see the leader run out of gas very often, it's not that much fun, in my opinion. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. In the meantime, let's take a look at the top finishers. We already talked a bit about Briscoe finishing second, Brad finishing third, Ryan Blaney charges to finish fourth. How about Ryan Preece finishing fifth? A lot of fans this time last year had given up on Ryan Preece. According to reports, even some Cup Series teams who were considering Preece as their next driver gave up on Ryan Preece. This time 1 year ago, Ryan Preece was seriously considering giving up on NASCAR entirely, moving back to Connecticut, probably pursuing a full-time modified career. Then he got a phone call from Brad Keselowski, joined RFK Racing in an expansion third full-time team. The moment that deal was announced, I was on board, and Preece has them on the brink of playoff contention. For a moment today, I thought Preece was in the best spot to maybe go contend with Byron for the win. He had fresher tires, restarted up around 5th, 6th place, but he didn't quite have enough car, couldn't hang in there at the end. Still finishes a solid 5th. We'll look at the points in a moment. He's gotten the bubble a bit closer, but I was very impressed with Ryan Preece's run today. They missed it early on, missed it in qualifying. He was this close to going a lap down in stage 1, stuck with it, made adjustments, caught a break with one of those mid-race cautions, finishes 5th. Huge points day for Ryan Preece. I want to give a shout out to Bubba Wallace as well, who won the Brickyard 400 last week to officially qualify for the playoffs. He was 2 laps down with a broken rear toe link with less than 100 laps to go today. Remember, he got put in the wall, then, stack up behind him, Eric Jones spun, caution. Team stuck with it, took advantage of all the free passes, all the wave rounds, all the lucky dogs, and drove up to 6th in the final run. Great charge, great resilience from this 2311 racing team. Shout out to Bubba Wallace. Another much needed good points day for Alex Bowman. He's another driver who was kind of bailed out by that stage 2 caution flag that occurred during green flag pit stops. He hadn't pit yet, stayed out, was on the lead lap, got a bunch of track position as a result of the timing of that caution. Good strategy the rest of the way, good restarts, was in the mix, comes home 7th. Carson Hocevar comes home 8th. I know he got into Zane Smith on one restart, spun Zane Smith around. Poor Zane Smith's been wrecked by guys 2 or 3 weeks in a row now. I saw one clip that appeared to show Zane Smith maybe taking a swipe at Hocevar. If he was intending to hit the 77 there, he missed his target. Hocevar comes home with a solid top 10. Joey Logano gets a top 10. I want to talk about Team Penske for just a moment, because coming into this race, they were the team I had my eye on. 1 year ago, remember, Ryan Blaney, Team Penske, dominated this race, led over 200 laps, got the win. Short, flat ovals, similar to Iowa, have been Team Penske's bread and butter the past few seasons. A big reason why they've been able to win 3 straight Cup Series championships. The final race of the season is at a short, flat oval in Phoenix. We've seen some moments from Penske this year, like the All-Star race, North Wilkesboro, short, flat oval. Joey Logano finished 2nd, battled Christopher Bell down to the wire. But up to this point, Team Penske this season is winless at all short ovals, and we're 23 races into the year. Let's see, it was a Hendrick car that won Bowman Gray. First Phoenix race was a Gibbs car. Martinsville, that was Hamlin, another JGR car. Bristol was Larson, Hendrick. North Wilkesboro was Bell, Gibbs. If we want to count Dover, that was another JGR win. Today, a Hendrick win. Team Penske has been shut out of victory lane at the short ovals thus far. That's something to watch as we look towards the playoffs. There's a short flat oval in like every single round. Gateway is in the playoffs this year. New Hampshire is in the playoffs this year. Obviously Martinsville in the round of 8. Phoenix for the championship 4. Team Penske still has a great shot of going all the way, getting 1 or 2 cars in the championship 4, potentially winning the whole thing. But right now, and today was the latest example, Team Penske does not quite have the juice they've had at the short tracks the past couple of years. They were good today. Austin Cindric earned 17 stage points. He was the standout performer. Ryan Blaney, I just mentioned, hard charger at the end. Joey Logano does come home with the top 10, but Brad Keselowski in a Roush car was the star. William Byron, Hendrick Chevy, played the strategy the right way. JGR with Chase Briscoe come home 2nd, and that's despite Briscoe taking some of his Toyota teammates out a couple times in this race. Something to watch, especially going into Richmond in a couple weeks. That'll be our final short flat oval before the playoffs. Where will Penske stack up against the competition? Fans always say, oh, Penske's just sandbagging until the playoffs. I don't buy that, because playoff points matter. Getting a good regular season points finish matters. Winning races and stages in the regular season matters. Joey Logano was this close to being eliminated early in last year's playoffs, got bailed out by a DQ, so I don't buy this narrative that Penske is intentionally sandbagging. They might be experimenting here and there, but you better believe they wanted to run better at Indianapolis last week. That's literally Roger Penske's playground, and Penske was not very competitive. They aren't running slow on purpose. Let's just say I don't subscribe to that conspiracy theory. So Penske was okay today. Not amazing, but not bad at all. Pretty good. Let's see how they run at Richmond in 2 weeks. I'll be very interested. Top 10 for Austin Dillon. Last time he looked this fast, it was Richmond 1 year ago. Another similar short, flat oval. Watch for Dillon, even Kyle Busch, to surprise some folks here in a couple of weeks. Chase Elliott 14th. Classic 2025 Chase Elliott kind of day. Spent some time near the front, different strategy. Another top 15 finish for Chase, but he loses out to William Byron in the regular season points battle for now at least. Let's take a look at the playoff bubble. Alex Bowman holds on to 15th, still 63 points. No change there, but the difference between Ford teammates Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece is a lot closer. Preece cut that deficit almost in half this week. Again, 3 races to go. Chris Buescher has to have Watkins Glen circled. He won that race last year. Great road racer. Great opportunity for Buescher to expand his lead this coming Sunday. But remember, if someone below the cut line wins, Brad Keselowski almost won today's race. I just mentioned Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch. Ty Gibbs is a good road racer. If any of these guys win one of these upcoming races, Daytona looms 3 weeks away. Then Buescher's out. Suddenly the battle is Buescher versus Bowman for that spot. So Ryan Preece, good job today, but he needs to keep it up, maybe win a race, or at least hope no one else wins a race. No more new winners. Either way, it's unfortunate that right now, it seems RFK will be lucky to get one of their cars in the playoffs, let alone 2, certainly not 3, not the way things are shaping up currently. But that's a look at the playoff bubble, a look at some of the top finishers. Other notables, Denny Hamlin, 4 wins on the season. I circled this as a great track for him potentially. They missed it. Denny Hamlin was way off this afternoon, involved in a couple of incidents. I think he comes home 20th. Just nowhere close, unfortunately. That was surprising considering how well his teammate Chase Briscoe ran, for example. Kyle Busch, mentioned him earlier, crashed the primary in practice, battled his way forward at times today, but was never really a factor. Kyle Larson was in the thick of it on a few restarts midway through this race. I mentioned his back and forth with teammate Chase Elliott. It's like he was mad that Elliott shuffled him out on one restart, so the very next one, Larson tried to squeeze his car into a gap that wasn't really there. Just teammates getting into an unnecessary pissing match in the middle of the field, in my opinion. Then Larson over the radio, angry as I've ever heard him, MFing guys, just venting to his team, to his crew about how everyone else is racing.
Every single mother.
Kyle Larson, usually pretty chill, lost his chill for a moment in today's race, comes home outside the top 20. Bad result for Kyle Larson. He's been good. Everyone keeps, I think, overplaying the slow, sluggish summer Kyle Larson has suffered. He hasn't won a race now in 12 starts. I think he has a 12-race winless streak, which obviously is his longest winless streak of the season. It's his 3rd longest winless streak since the next-gen car was introduced almost 4 years ago. That's actually kind of crazy to think about. Larson's longest winless streak in this car is only 21 races. He's won at least 3 races all 4 seasons now of the next-gen car. He's been very consistent, but now, yes, has gone through kind of a dry patch this summer. He had back-to-back top 5s coming into today. I definitely think he's growing frustrated. He expects to win stages, lead more laps. He's not doing that. He's kind of just top 5, top 10 every week. That's not where this team hopes to be. That's not where this team expects to be. I think that's part of why we heard Larson lose his cool over the radio, and at least at a couple moments on track, felt like he kind of lost his cool there as well. But that's all I wanted to say about some of the other notable finishers in this race. Let's put this race on the Groovy Gauge. The Groovy Gauge is powered by electric e-bikes. Head to electricebikes.com to find a ride that suits you. Was Iowa Speedway a good race today? is an interesting one. Stage 1 was pretty straightforward. William Byron gets out to the lead. Briscoe fades a bit. Keselowski works his way forward. Eventually he's able to clear Willie B for the race lead, for the stage win. Then stage 2, we had that wacky caution. Shane Van Gisbergen running like 20th, just spins out on his own in the middle of green flag pit stop, shuffles the running order almost completely. And basically the rest of the way, this race was somewhat disjointed. Keselowski again was able to drive his way back to the lead, win stage 2, but then stage 3, wreck, spin, caution. Someone's passenger window fell onto the track. I was waiting for the Tropicana Orange to make another reappearance. Any caution that could come out was coming out at the beginning of stage 3. It was impossible to tell who was on the best strategy. As time went on, it was pretty clear the guys who were waiting to make their final stop, like Chase Elliott or Josh Berry, or even to some extent guys like Ryan Blaney, it felt like, ooh, they waited too long. They're in a tough spot here. This was an odd race. It came down to fuel mileage, track position. I'm just getting a little old, unfortunately. I've been given a lot of 50, 60, 70. I'm going to go 50. 50% on the Groovy Gauge for Iowa Speedway. I'm just getting a little tired of the aero games, the fuel mileage finish that most everyone makes it to the finish anyways. It's anticlimactic, I suppose. And I saw some people criticizing NBC. Oh, the broadcast the last few weeks, TNT, Amazon, they're playing up the fuel mileage every week only for like no one to run out of gas. What the heck are they doing? They're lying to us. They're embellishing. I don't think TV is. I just think TV, like me and like many others, are finally coming around to realize that these teams and drivers are so good at fuel mileage racing now. The technology is so exact. The next-gen car is a defensive car. Driver defense is as or more important than offense now. Track position is king. I think everyone's just now realizing that fuel mileage racing, fuel mileage finishes aren't going to be as chaotic as they once were. But we're only just now starting to realize that. So I don't blame TV for talking up fuel mileage when Rudy Fugle is in William Byron's ear every lap saying, hey, give me more. That's tense. That's dramatic. TV's here to sell you the intensity, the dramatic. So I don't fault TV. They're doing their jobs to the best of their ability in this case. I just think as an industry now, we've gotten too smart for fuel mileage racing. With this car now, it's too easy to hold track position, to defend, to make lap time, to make the distance. It's not the broadcast's fault. That's all I'm trying to say. 50% for me. It's all right. Okay, I'm not going to think about this race in a week, frankly, if I'm being completely honest. Anyways, let me know if you enjoyed this race. Awesome crowd. I will say that. Great looking crowd. Even the Xfinity race yesterday, really strong crowd. There's no confirmation yet that Iowa's back for another year next season. Schedule should be out fairly soon, but at this point, I'd be surprised if Iowa's not on the schedule. It's a NASCAR-owned facility. The fan support in person has been there the past couple of seasons. It's one of those few destinations that make sense in the middle of the hot summer. So I think Iowa should be back, but we'll see for sure. Those are my thoughts on today's Iowa Corn 350. Let me know what you thought of today's race down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, leave a like, hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. It helps out the show a ton. Also helps if you hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel and you love NASCAR, you're in the right place. Be sure to hit subscribe. And I really appreciate all my Patreon supporters for going above and beyond. That's going to do it for this one, folks. And guess what? My camera battery made it to the end, just like William Byron and Chase Briscoe and Joey Logano, and everyone always makes it to the end on fuel mileage. See how anticlimactic that was? I teased my battery depleting early on. I'm sure you were at the edge of your seat, waiting for something dramatic to happen, for everything to just come collapsing down, shut off mid-sentence. Never happened. Just like the leaders running out of fuel in most Cup Series races nowadays. This was all just to prove a point. It was a terrible idea for a bit, not even funny, not even a good joke. Just a really bad, poorly executed example by me. But hopefully you get my point. Thanks for watching. I'll have a great rest of your weekend, a great start to your week. I'll talk with you again soon.